Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 202 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my fellow Chocobo Riders.
Oh, I love that. My name is Craig. Standard greeting.
What's up, brother? My name is also Craig.
You're starting to do the whole the whole meme that everybody's doing.
Let me just tell you that I found him
boy.
randomly on like a TikTok live like months ago, and I was just like fascinated watching him play Madden, and now he's blowing up, and it's making me happy.
Yeah.
He's great. I love some sketch.
Love it. Yeah.
What's up, brother?
Special teams, special plays, special players.
Tuesday.
Yep, you got it. Tuesday.
Oh, that's funny. We're recording this on a Monday, and
Yes.
it's time for the news.
Yes, it is.
So we did record a little bit early last time, so I'm going to kind of go over the harmless April Fool's jokes that came over
Okay.
from April Fool's. A couple of them was the Razer Cthulhu chair. If you guys had saw that, it is a chair with 8 robotic arms, a nice little fun April Fool's joke for everyone. We had the Cyberpunk 2077, not real, but being sold on 97,619 floppy disks. That's what it would take to have
that was a good.
to have the game on there.
That was a good one.
A Pal World / Doki Doki Literature Club trailer that was kind of out of left field. It's nice to know those developers have some sort of sense of humor.
I'd play it.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
And it was that, and probably my second favorite one is the Pokemon Sleep Competition. We are currently in the midst of Pokemon Competitive World Championships and stuff like that. And let's just break it down to who sleeps the best. I might be able to go competitive in that. I like sleeping, so
Yeah.
Same.
Oh my God, who doesn't, right?
But other than like the ones that we had this year, do you guys remember any really good ones that we saw? Like I remember what IGN used to do every year they would kind of put on a big April Fool's prank with like a Bollywood Halo trailer. I remember that. A faux trailer for The Legend of Zelda. This kind of deal there. Any other ones you guys might remember or particularly are fond of?
There was the hidden Street Fighter 2 boss back in the day that they said you could do in arcades, which was fake.
That's right. I'm sorry. I remember that one too.
Yep. That everybody on the playground swore they got to. I'm trying to think what else. That's the one that always jumps out at me as like that was a huge one. Also the Tomb Raider nude code was another big one. Yep. Back in the day.
The nude
code.
Wow.
Those are the two I think that jumped to my mind right away.
What were some of the ones from last year?
Okay, you're supposed to say you'd have to give me a second to look that up.
I'm like 40% remember them, and
they don't
my brain
stick as well as they used to.
No, they definitely
they're not as iconic as they were in the past. I don't think anybody I feel like I don't see as many anymore either.
Well, they're usually just like very small ads now. Like you just see a little picture of it and then that's it.
Yeah. It used to be like a huge deal. Like April 1st would come around and you could not literally trust anything gaming related that day. Nothing.
Yeah, for real.
Because everything was fake. Now it's like one or two things, but they'll immediately be like, April Fools.
Let's see here. Trying to see.
Didn't have something to do with Seinfeld or something?
I have no idea. Oh, that's like the April. So the Apex Legends from 2023.
Yes.
And Neshi shooting.
Yep. That was an actual thing, though.
Yeah.
Like you could play. That was very cool.
Power Wash Survivors.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Like a combination of both games. I thought there was like a huge one. I think I remember this time last year us talking about one. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't either.
Duolingo's
Oh,
love language
the rate.
trailer. That was
It
Yeah.
also a weird
it
one.
was the shaving mouse.
Yes, I just
Yeah.
actually came to
The
that.
razor
The
shaving
Razor
mouse.
Razor.
That's what it was. The razor.
Yep.
You go back in the archives, we were talking about that one.
The Among Us April Fool's horse mod trailer. And then that's right, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog was an April Fool's game
Yes.
that you
But
could
you
actually
can still play.
Yeah, you
Yep.
could still play. So yeah, they definitely don't make them like they used to
Uh.
because they're just little blips on the internet. But
Mhm.
definitely some memorable ones. The Razor was
The
quite
Razor
the
Razor.
Razor
interesting one.
razor.
I feel like they always come up with a fun one.
Ah.
I feel like they did
There
one
were-
with the desk before.
There was one with a desk that was an attachment for your cat this year. I don't remember who did, if it was Corsair, if it was like
I did
Secret
not
Lab,
read that.
but it was like it was like a little attachment that they had mock-ups of that would just, your cat could like sit in it while you're playing, which I was like, that is kind of realistic, which is what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like something like that is kind of believable, but I don't remember. I just saw it in passing. I don't know what company actually put that out there.
Hmm.
But then just a couple smaller things left in news for me. I have the online services end for the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. A sad time for any owner that did the online stuff or the game required an online connection. Luckily, a lot of those games didn't. But now it was first the store a year or two ago, and now it's finally the online services. So now you can't play Super Mario Maker, which is why you know those guys tried to beat every level before it. And lastly, and this one kind of has a lot of interesting stuff, Apple Store is now allowing retro game emulators onto their store. It's a very interesting time for emulation, considering Nintendo is suing everyone up to the moon, if possible. So,
including us. No, that's
they'll never get mine.
So then at this
you never
point,
catch me,
a lot of it's like, okay, so what's the next step? You know, it was one thing when Google Play was doing it because it's kind of an unmoderated space there, but Apple doing it is kind of saying, oh wow, geez, now a lot of the US market share can finally emulate games. Now retro, it is pretty retro. You're not seeing, PSP type emulation or anything like that on it yet, but it's a step in the, I guess, a right direction, I'd call it. Hopefully nobody gets hurt from it, is why I'm saying it's the right direction.
Yeah.
But we will see. Now you don't have to jailbreak your iPhone anymore.
It's true.
That's still a thing.
That used to be such a thing back in the day.
That used to be such.
I jailbroke my iPod.
Oh my gosh.
I remember doing that.
Yeah, you were the coolest kid if you could jailbreak your iPhone. Like, oh, look at all the stuff I got on my phone now.
Yep. I don't even think that's a thing anymore, is it?
Well, like, what's the equivalent of that now? Is that like using a VPN to like watch Netflix from like overseas? Is that like the equivalent of jailbreaking now? Like,
yeah, I don't think phones really get jailbroken. I'm sure there's still a community out there for it, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be.
Yeah. But that's all I had for news.
All right. I got a couple, and then in the spirit of tonight, as of this recording, March Madness ending, I have a little bracket for us to go through. But first one I got, we got a little hint from Ubisoft that we're going to get a reveal in June of a Splinter Cell remake. So the big question is, which one do you think it is, or which one do you want?
I almost said any of them.
I mean, the first one makes sense, right?
The first one does make sense. But that's capital news. Yeah. Like, I mean, for anybody that played Splinter Cell, jumping back into those would be freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, the first one does make sense.
What do you think, Barry?
So for me, I didn't get into the Splinter Cell like area until Conviction, I believe it was. So I am very late into the Splinter Cell games. I did really like that game, so I am A-okay with whichever one they make, and as long as if they can make it somewhat, similar to what I thought Conviction was really good at, probably a lot of people will buy the game. But right now, I think is the perfect time. Like, we've been away from this series enough to be able to reboot it, kind of like we were with Dead Space.
Mm-hmm. That's a good call. That series had the right combination of espionage and cool gadgets, and what I would say a strong main character. to be able to take you through them. Splinter Cell essentially was the game that helped me get through the Metal Gear Solid itch that I would have, like in between like their releases as well. Like it's a much bigger game than that. I don't want to take away from its impact, but I love Splinter Cell. I know a lot of people
Yeah, the
did.
first Splinter Cell on PlayStation 2. Every time I think of it, I don't even remember his name, but I have to give a shout out to the man who worked at Electronics Boutique at the time when I went to buy it, and he convinced my dad that I was old enough to play that game.
That
So
was
hats
real.
off to him. He's the real one. I don't know, like
That's
it's those certain memories that stick with you, and it was him telling my dad that like, hey, technically you could play this game and not kill anybody. You know, like you could sneak past everything. And like my dad was super lenient on games anyway, but like it always stuck with me, them having that conversation in the middle of an electronics boutique, and then my dad letting me buy it. And that game was so far ahead of its time, like shooting out lights it was just like
yeah,
unheard of at the time. You couldn't shoot out lights before that. You just didn't.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a great game. I hope it gets like the Dead Space treatment.
Yeah, it should.
Oh yeah,
like
Yeah, it
completely
should.
redo it. Let me play through it again. Second one I have here, I thought this was super interesting. Rise of Ronin, which none of us have played, right?
Correct.
Has sold more
Correct.
physical copies than Dragon's Dogma 2. I don't know
Oh,
that I saw that coming.
Shut
a win
up.
for
Yeah,
the PlayStation
Shut up.
boys.
I guess. I would
What?
have thought for sure like Dragon's Dogma is a more popular game, but apparently not. Go figure. And
I
we
feel
still
like
haven't played it.
I was gonna say I feel like Rise of Ronin is probably a bit more trying to think of it onboarding friendly or like less
Maybe.
intimidating is what I'm thinking. The
Yeah.
Dragon Dogma 2
Yeah.
because all anybody talks about is how hard
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is. So I have a feeling people, if you had to pick one, you're going to pick the one that you may have more fun with. And also it has co-op.
It does.
It does have co-op, which Dragon's Dogma 2 does not.
And then the last piece of news I have here, some Gears news again, because we love Gears. Gear 6, again, rumblings are coming that it's going to be announced soon, but specifically stating that this will be the moment for the Series X, Gear 6. So do you think finally, I know we've talked about this before, that no game I play on my Xbox looks as good as a game I play on my PlayStation right now? Like, at all? Do you think this is the one?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
I want Gear 6 so bad.
So
It's
do
been
I.
so
It's
long.
been such a long time.
Yeah. I really wanted Gears collection, like a Master Chief collection. That's what I really want, but I'll take a Gear 6.
Are we approaching what, like a decade since Gears 5?
I don't think so.
I think we're around 7.
Was it
I
20?
Okay.
I think
I
we're
feel like it
around.
was 2019. Am I wrong? Gears 5.
Here we go.
2019.
Okay.
5
Okay.
years.
I don't know why I thought it was longer.
About 4.5 years since it came out. So it does seem like a long time ago, but that's because of pandemic.
And all the really good games that came out in the past 2-3 years.
Yeah,
Like
true.
it was kind of just like bang 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 one after another.
And Gears 5 wasn't received well.
We enjoyed it.
We liked
we had
it.
fun.
Yeah, but in general, it was not reviewed well. But yeah, that's the last stuff I have.
All right, I have a couple. I know that we were talking about April Fool's Day jokes in the gaming industry, but there was one thing that popped up on April Fool's that was actually true. Everybody was crazy when Hollow Knight Silksong showed up on the Xbox store, where a listing showed up on the Xbox store. For a lot of people, Silksong is a long-awaited. We're talking about 5 years in development. That's also, or sorry, we were talking about 5 years with Gears 5. But this is 5 years in development. It will be a highly coveted sequel based off of like it just has to be. But it sent everybody in a frenzy because you know how we are when something gets a listing just on any realtor's site, or any digital place to purchase digital game site. So that was something that popped up. I don't know if you guys saw that or read about it at least.
I
But
had seen that. My main thing is like what's this game has been in development for how long? Like why does it need this long?
5 years.
Yeah.
in the oven. I guess is my main thing. Like, are they running into issues? Like, they haven't said anything
Hmm.
about why this is taking so
Yeah.
long for development. I just hope
It
it
is
meets
weird.
everybody's expectations. Because at this point, like, no matter what you make, it's not meeting people's expectations.
I'm not a Hollow Knight fan,
I
so
I tried the game out and never finished it. I understand and appreciate why it is
yep.
revered. But like Barry, that's a great question. Why is it taking this long? Like, are they hitting snags? And I mean, it's not I didn't see it as a very story driven based, like to the point where maybe you can't write something or you run into writer's block writing it. So like, I don't know. To be honest with you.
And there's a chance that I'm completely wrong. Like, it's not just like a 2D Metroidvania. Maybe there's a chance that this switches to like a fully 3D scape sort of deal. And then, which I'd kind of understand why, but like the assets are already there. Like 2D games, as much as difficult as they are to make as regular ones or like open world or 3D games, you're still working in just a 2D plane. It's
Hmm.
not like you're working with 4 or 5 dimensional stuff. I don't know. We have to see.
I don't know.
True.
Yeah, that was a good question, Barry. Also, speaking of just things getting released, Nightmare Cart, formerly known as Bloodborne Cart, officially has a date for release on May 31st. And, I'm not going to say I'm excited because I'm probably not going to play that in particular. You guys know I do love Bloodborne, but not to play a Mario Kart version of Bloodborne per se. I don't know. Maybe when we get closer, it'll change. But it's boasting 20 racers, 16 maps,
It's
um,
really going all out
and it's
here.
supposed to be
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
And it's free, isn't it, when it comes out?
and it's free, which is probably maybe while I'll try it.
Yeah.
But it is free. So that's some pretty big news for anybody who is a Bloodborne fan. I guess besides me, unless I try it. But anyway, that's something else that came out. And then the other thing I had is a very small Ubisoft layoffs amount, but still we do talk about layoffs on here. So Ubisoft let 45 people go, specifically from the publishing side of the business. Um, we talk about layoffs a lot here. There's two numbers that I want to drop pertaining to that. The first one being that in 2023 there was 10,500 give or take layoffs throughout the entire year. This first quarter, I'm going to say quarter, not fiscal quarter, depending on the company, but quarter. There has already been over 8,000 layoffs since January 1st. So I don't know. Those two numbers resonate with me because that's a lot of
Yeah.
people in the beginning of the year. Maybe I should have did this one first so we could have ended on a better note.
It's all good.
But that's crazy. That's crazy. We all know that the gaming industry, I mean, I don't see the numbers directly, but there's still a heavy, heavy, heavy player base. I know there's new acquisition of customers in terms of people who are trying stuff out. Maybe not like when Animal Crossing was dominating the pandemic, but it's just insane to see that many in reference to who creative minds who've lost their jobs. Especially when you're thinking about already almost it's 2,500 away from the numbers in the full year of 2023.
Yep.
So I know that we're not the only form of media that covers layoffs in the gaming industry. I know essentially everybody does, but I just thought that was an interesting number to throw out there. Um, but that is, unless you guys had anything to say about it, that's all I had.
Nope. I can.
nope.
I'll end
Yeah,
this on a positive note. It's okay.
let's end it on a positive note.
All right.
I
All
should have
right. So
rearranged
this one,
those articles.
this one, I'll just be the tiebreaker, right? Just in case. But I have 4, 6. I have 12 games here, in bracket format, and what these are is inspired by Stellar Blade. I have 12 of the weirdest games ever made, as opposed to ones I could remember and some that I looked up online. And I would like to get to a consensus from us as far as what we consider to be the weirdest game ever made. Because Stellar Blade's pretty weird, let's be honest. I know what you
This
guys are
should be
thinking.
interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
I
I'm
have
all
a
for
really
this.
weird game in mind already. I just wonder if it's on that list.
Uh-oh.
I'm
It
actually
might
most
not
interested to
be.
see about
I
Barry.
tried to do like a wide variety here. Okay. The first matchup here, and again, I'll be the tiebreaker if need be. We have Scorn and Katamari, like the series Katamari.
Oh, Katamari.
Mhm.
Okay.
So remember, we're
Oh.
not going with best, we're going with weirdest. So
Katamari's weirder.
keep that in mind.
Katam. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Katamari is definitely
That's
weirder.
fair. Just want to don't immediately think like what was the better game.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one. Catherine and Goat Simulator. Not which one's better.
I'm saying
okay.
This one's tough.
I'm saying
This
Catherine.
one's tough.
I'm saying
Okay.
Catherine. Catherine's
Catherine
weird.
is very weird. So is Goat Simulator, though.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, this one's tough for me. I guess I'm gonna take weird into the space of. Yeah, this one's. Yeah, I keep flip flopping back and forth in my head. It's quite.
Yep.
It's quite the battle here.
Mm-hmm.
Goats versus Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I will go Catherine as well.
Okay. I would also go Catherine.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a landslide.
No, it's close.
Either.
Yeah, it was
All
like
right.
2 1 seeds going at it.
No, that's like an
Yeah.
8 and 9 seed. All right.
What? That's an
Okay.
8 and 9 seed?
Well, he hasn't told us the
here we
rest
go.
of the
Next
game,
one.
so like maybe he's right.
Lollipop Chainsaw. And Barry, I don't know if you know this one or not, but it was on the Dreamcast. Seaman.
Oh, so you know what?
Wow.
I do know Seaman because of Dan Reichert, and I don't know if you like the game I was thinking of as one of the weirdest ones, which is in relation to Seaman, was Hey You Pikachu.
Yeah, kind of the
N64.
same thing because
So
you
I'm
have your
taking
microphone.
Seaman.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm taking Seaman.
Yeah.
Seaman?
I'm gonna have to go with
It's such
Seaman
a
out
weird
of the
game,
two.
and I remember playing it in a electronics boutique and just being like, "What is this game? What is this?" Okay, next matchup here we have Death Stranding and Galgun.
Oh, it's well.
I played Galgun. Barry, you've played Galgun.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Galgun is like there, but like the Strand game. Babies, nukes. Yeah, it's Death Stranding for me.
Death Stranding. Craig, do you agree?
I'm gonna go with Barry's take on this because I never played Galgun.
It's weird.
It's weird, but if you know anime, it's nothing too out of the ordinary, I guess.
It's just
another run. It's
small
another
potatoes.
run of the mill day for Barry. Is what it is.
Okay. Next one. Now, this first game I played a bunch of. Leisure Suit Larry, if you remember that game, and
I don't think I was allowed to play that.
Yeah, and I Am Bread.
Oh man,
you remember the I Am Bread game? That was a couple years ago.
Remember the I Am Bread? That was. Ooh.
I actually still owned a copy of Leisure Suit Larry up until like last year.
Now, is Leisure Suit Larry in the vein of Conker's Bad Fur Day? Is that what that game is?
Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of the game was just to sleep with as many women as he could, but he was like an ugly looking dude.
Yeah, no, so I remember the box art. I remember the box art. Shaped.
I had to look up the. I'm glad you said that because I just looked it up.
Shaped me as a young man. Shaped me into the man who I am today. I didn't even play that game. The box art.
Oh, I played it way too much.
I might have to go with Leisure Suit, man.
The other one you're literally playing is a slice of bread, as well. That was a physics-based game, I believe.
I was gonna say, what was the point of Leisure Suit? Of I Am Bread. Was it like to get to a toaster?
Yeah, you had to get to the toaster. Yep, each level was getting to the toaster, but it was very physics-based.
Yeah.
So it would be like each button moved you a different like corner of the bread or whatever.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm sticking with
Okay.
Larry.
Barry's thinking long and hard about this one. Don't think.
Barry's
I
toasting. He's toasting the bread. He's
like for me,
toasting the
they're both
bread.
strange, but like Leisure Shoot Larry, I think I have to go with. Just like I
Okay.
never played that game, but that game is, yeah.
Okay. And then last matchup here of the initial rounds here, we have everybody's favorite fighting game, Shaq Fu, and the PS1 classic that I also played a bunch of, Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man is a game, let me tell you.
Yeah,
As I
I
drink
think
Oh
Pepsi.
my god!
I think Pepsi Man is the weirder of the two.
Yeah,
They're both pretty weird.
so, yeah, and like Shaq Fu is weird. I don't think it's as weird as Pepsi
Okay.
Man. I'm going through some of the visuals again,
Pepsi Man.
just to jog the memory. I think it's Pepsi. It's
Okay.
Pepsi Man. It's
All right,
definitely Pepsi Man.
All right. Here we go. Katamari versus Catherine.
Still think Katamari's weirder.
Katamari.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Okay.
that. That's where I think my heart's going to.
All right. How about Seaman and Death Stranding? They're both weird.
I'm still with C-Man.
Now, this one, just to keep in mind, because of how many I have, this one will get a pass into the final round. So between Seaman and Death Stranding, because of the three, I think this is the weirdest. I think deserving of a straight pass to the finals. So Seaman or Death Stranding? Barry, you said Death Stranding?
I said C-Man.
He
Oh,
said
you said
C-Man.
Seaman. Okay.
I'm doubling
Seaman?
up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Leisure Suit Larry or Pepsi Man?
Leisure Suit.
Sure, Leisure
so?
Shoot.
Okay. So if we move Seaman into the finals, is it against Katamari or Leisure Suit Larry?
Oh. Barry.
I guess for the most part, like so the problem for me is like Leisure Shoot I never played.
Right.
So I I have to leave that up to you, Craig. But with Katamari, like that game is strange in not only the sense you're a tiny man rolling things, but also like the characterization of like his father and all of the other stuff and how you're a prince is also like it's a weird it's weird in the sense that it's cohesive as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the everything else is weird. So I'm still with Katamari, but if
Okay.
you can convince me Leisure Suit is stranger, I'm more than willing to hear arguments to be switched to buy my vote.
I mean, I have never played Katamari myself.
Okay.
But I've watched my wife play hours while I was playing a separate video game. That's a weird game,
It
man.
is a weird game.
And Leisure Suit has conceptually is beyond, but without overthinking the word weird, the definition of weird. Like I'm Katamari's weird. Like I'm going with Katamari as well.
I think that's the right choice because if I look at it like objectively, having played both, Leisure Suit Larry, the premise is weird. The game itself is not that weird because it all comes down to like series of dates where you're doing mini games to impress the date, and I think that's not that weird. Okay, so Seaman or Katamari?
Yeah, this one's a toss up for me.
Both
Yeah,
equally weird.
Yeah, like I think if I have to go for it, the concept of it's either you go with the concept of Seaman is weird,
Mm-hmm.
or the like what's weirder, the fact that you're talking into your controller or into a microphone to play a game,
Yep.
or is it weirder that you're tiny prince rolling up entire cities?
Yeah, but the stuff Seaman would say
was
wild.
And I think Seaman is still the weirder one because it feels like you should be on an acid trip.
I mean, my vote would be Seaman just based on like
And
Who
we don't condone
approved
drugs, just so we're all
who
clear.
approved that game? You know, like Katamari at its core, I see like, yeah, it's weird, but like I can see the gameplay element of it. Roll around and pick stuff up. There's no gameplay element to Seaman
I got
at all.
here. I think I have a deciding factor for me.
Like there is no like objective
Ooh.
in Seaman other than talking to this fish with a human face.
Yeah.
And it would just sometimes they would just say these profound statements and you'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm edging out Seaman for the creepiness of that, the talking, and then also the responses from a faced
Who thought that was a good
animal that lives in
idea?
the water. I know. Yeah,
That's my thing.
Dang it. So I was going to go with, I wasn't sure if Seaman was developed in Japan. It also is developed in Japan, much like Katamari. So leave it up to the Japanese to come up with a weirder thing.
Yep.
But I'm going to go with Seaman.
Okay. Unanimous for us then. Seaman is the weirdest game according to this list of 12 games that I found.
And it is to not be, what's the word for it? It's the definitive list.
Yeah, it's definitive.
Much like my Pokemon movie, this is the definitive list.
This is definitive. Yep. We'll do worst games of all time next week, and I'll put Stellar Blade on there. How about that?
Hey.
Yo. Hey. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, friend.
I was going to say, you could put in the worst demo, but that game's not even out yet. We can't judge it just yet.
That's true. Soon.
Games we can judge are the ones that we've played this week.
Mm-hmm.
Nice transition.
Boom.
Built that one.
Well done.
That one. All right.
You could say that you finished your story, Barry.
No, I have to finish the story in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth still.
Good job.
I'm playing it.
Okay.
I'm in it. I'm into the game.
Yep.
I just haven't finished it yet, but that's all I played this week. Unfortunately.
What chapter are you on?
So I am almost done with Junon. I am still very early, but I am.
No, that's fine.
But I think my playtime is at, I think like 13 or 14 hours.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right.
I cleaned it up, closed the case, put the disc away on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth finally, clocked in at 81 hours. And then I don't know what to do with myself right now. So I have, but have not started Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I have that waiting, but I did, because it was on sale, I went back and started playing Sekiro again. Since I gave up on that game in about 20 minutes when it first came out.
you know what?
You are the smart man for doing that.
But that was I mean, now I consider myself a Souls-like veteran, so jumping back into it now, I can appreciate it more. But those are the two that I've played.
I remembered it now too. For me, I bought and played the Star Wars Battlefront collection, so I do have that one as well.
Okay.
I forgot about that for good reason.
Craig, I respect your Sekiro. I don't know too many games in the last like 4 years that made me want to pull my hair out.
Then that one.
That's a pretty frustrating game. But it's awesome at the same time, which is what is annoying about it, because it's just great too. I did not finish Final Fantasy VII. I feel very bad. I feel very disappointed in myself. What's going to disappoint you two gentlemen more is the game that I did play this week.
Persona.
No, I just want, people were talking about it, so I started Dragons Dogma 2.
Finish one RPG before you start another one. For the love of God.
I'm not happy with myself about
it. You
still
have Like a Dragon and Final Fantasy, but then in your mind you said, you know what?
Correct.
Oh, and you also have Baldur's Gate, but let me just start Dragon's Dogma while I'm at it.
Persona 3 Reload as well. I technically didn't finish either.
All right.
That's what I'm trying to jump into next after Final Fantasy. But to get back on track for Final Fantasy, as someone who has beaten it, Craig.
Yes.
How is your verdict?
Okay, so now that I've done 2 of them, and I believe there's probably going to be, I'm going to say one more. It would make sense for one more. I feel comfortable in saying that at this point, this would be the definitive way to play Final Fantasy VII. over the original.
Okay.
I just think like quality of life, you're getting more backstory, which you never got in the original games, but they've been able to do because there's been, we've had Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus, like the Vincent thing. They can combine all that lore and the movies, right? Advent Children.
Mm.
Like they can combine all this stuff and make it a definitive experience. Um, the ending, without giving anything away, was beautiful. Was extremely well done. I like the direction they're headed. Um, I will say that I think I did not do everything. I didn't do some of the mini games. I was like, I'm not going to bother. I did do all the side missions, so I cleaned up every single side mission. The only things I didn't do was like the sit up contest. I don't care. I
Oh
didn't do
no.
all the chocobo races, and then some of the stuff that you get to later in the Golden Saucer. Like you do all those mini games, and then when you get to the end of the game, they have harder modes that pop up. I didn't bother. I'm not going to do that, but I did do everything else.
You did it. Did you do all the Queen's
Yep.
Blood?
Yep. Did
Okay.
all
Now,
those. Go ahead.
what level did you finish the game at?
51.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which I think cap is 80. I think so. I was
I
like
was gonna
nowhere near the cap.
I was gonna say yeah, because we had gotten to the cap in Final Fantasy 16 when we both reached the end.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But to
Yeah.
hear that, to hear that that's only there, like I'm level like 28 now, and I haven't even I'm almost done with Junon. So like it just feels like leveling up is a much slower process
I think I was
in this
around
game.
30 when I finished Junon,
Okay.
but it does kind of like drop off a little
That
bit.
sounds about right.
Like now you have like your party level, and the max party level is 10.
Hmm.
And when I finished the game, because I didn't do some of the side stuff, I was like this far away from 10. So I was very, very
Okay.
close. But I was just like, I am not going to sit here for 10 hours trying to do this sit up mini game. I'm just not going to do it. And at a certain point, I was just like, I would rather see the end of the story before it taints my view of it, because I'm so annoyed with a few of the mini games.
Hmm.
Right. All the side quests were interesting enough for me that I wanted to do them all, which is good. I wanted to see what happened at the end of Queen's Blood. I wanted to see what happened when you get all the pieces of the proto relic, like that stuff. Like I had to see that, and I'm glad
Hmm.
I did. But there's some other stuff. There's like a pirates treasure hunt. I didn't even do it. Didn't even do
Yeah.
it.
Pirates
Yep.
Treasure, and then the soccer game with
I did those.
Red
Yep.
8. Oh wait, actually, that doesn't have an. I don't know if that has an elevated
No, I don't think
or an
so.
advanced
Yeah.
version.
But I did all the Queen's Blood, all the other one we were talking about before it
Proto
started. Barry,
relics or
no, the Fort Condor.
Fort Condor.
I
Yeah.
did all the Fort Condors. I did all
Mm.
that stuff. So, and then there's that other style game where it's like the things in the middle, and you have to send troops from three sides. I forget what that's called, but I did all those.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that
But
one.
yeah, I think like the ending was fantastic, absolutely incredible, exactly what you want. Some people are complaining because they changed it a little bit. That's totally fine by me. I think they're definitely on the right track. I'm excited for the other characters that you meet in the game, getting to play as them in the next one. That's what I'm excited
Mm.
for. There's two, Vincent
Vincent.
and Sid. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, it's incredible, incredible game. Very hard for me to think a game's going to top it this year for me personally.
I'm ready to keep going with it. I'm excited to
Mhm.
keep playing it.
Yeah. I'm currently stuck in the 12 area, so I'm excited, Craig, after your take there, because I'm in chapter 12 doing all that
It's a
crap
lot.
that just got opened up.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So I have to get over that hump.
Or you can skip it if you really want to. I don't the level thing, like full transparency. It may be different for you, but like I know I've talked about this before, but specifically RPGs and a lot of games now, like I'm there for the story. I play this stuff on easy. I don't care. Like I do not care. I'm not going to sit there and try to grind this game out on hard. I'm not doing it. Like, I want to see the story, so I just put that thing on easy. So maybe 51 is under leveled, but I didn't have the last boss was tough, 100%. But I did not struggle. I think I only game overed like twice. So
Okay.
I'm telling you, easy is the way to go.
Yeah.
It really is.
And then I'll just quickly get my little Star Wars Battlefront collection over with. For the most part, I was really hoping this game would see a lot more quality of life updates by now, but it really hasn't.
Hmm.
It's not really anywhere it needs to be when it comes to what the old Battlefronts were. It controlling is very stiff, and I think it's mostly just because they're ports. They aren't really they didn't really do anything to make them look better other than like a little HD texture, but they didn't fine tune controls or anything like that, which could be a lot better. You can't really play online or co-op like any of the Galactic Galaxy stuff. So pretty much when you're playing with friends, you just pick the maps you want to play on what game modes, and then you could just randomize them and play and play and play until your heart's content. But it just doesn't follow the galactic storyline portion where it took you from air to space to all of this like different stuff to make you feel like a war was going on. And you could still do that by yourself, but you can't do it with friends. And that was the whole and I thought a lot of that was the whole point. Is that with friends I can be battling on the ground while my two friends are shooting stuff up in the sky. Sort of deal. Because technically, while they are connected, are also like, they're playing on their own consoles. You can have two separate things going on. But
Yep.
to each their own. I don't know if this game will ever get fixed. I hope it does, but at this point, it's been out for about a month, and it feels like they fixed a lot of the hit detection, but nothing else. I don't know if they ever will. So
Probably not.
kind of in the end, at least it's only $40, but it absolutely feels like a cash grab.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is sad. Those games are classics. They shouldn't feel like this.
Yeah.
I appreciate your take on it because I was like this close to getting it with my wife, and we like held off on a bit. So
I still have it on PlayStation 2. Maybe I should just play it on there.
Yeah.
Probably feel better.
Probably looks the same.
Yeah, just about.
I don't really have that much to say about Sekiro other than I'm enjoying it more than the first time I played it, but it is frustrating for sure. I feel like I'm better at parrying, and I think that's what prevented me from getting into it the first time.
You are learning, young Skywalker.
Yeah. It feels good. Parrying into a death blow feels really good. It's definitely got that Souls like. I really like the how you traverse around though. It feels great. But those bosses, man, whew, they're rough.
They are.
Might be the roughest Souls game I've played.
Oh yeah.
It's
by
the
far,
roughest
by
one.
far.
Yeah, like Demon Souls feels like cakewalk.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, but I'm gonna keep with it for now, until I get real angry and stop playing it again. That's probably what'll happen.
All right.
I have a couple.
All right, you Dragons Dogma 2 player.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know why I did it.
Okay.
So Dragons
was the eclipse
Dogma
making you
2.
act up? Is that what it was?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know what exactly propelled me to do this, but I'm about maybe 5 to I'm like 8 hours in.
Hey, if you put 8 hours into Final Fantasy Rebirth, you'd be done with it.
You probably would be.
Correct. It's I could see the hype. I see why people are really enjoying it. So, it's great customizables when you're customizing your Arisen character and your mainstay pawn that stays with you the entire game. Great customization there. Fantastic. You can actually download specifically the customization portion demo on Steam if you wanted to. But first thing I got to say about it is it's essentially got like it's got like an Elder Scrolls opening. Because that wasn't Oblivion. But you essentially you start off in this like kind of like jail type of area where you're supposedly supposed to be. It's definitely their system to show you how to play, but you're the jail gets attacked by a monster and you end up escaping, that kind of thing, and then you end up like kind of getting into this town. The thing that I think that's cool about it is this area has one proclaimed ruler, but people believe that you are, so that's kind of what propels the beginning of the story. um but as far as side missions and as far as the actual like gameplay itself, it's a pretty good game. It's not overly complicated, to a certain degree in terms of how you're supposed to be building your character, which I thought was nice. There's not 4,000 skills and abilities that you have to get, or that you can grow. It seems pretty manageable from what I can see, or at least how my character's progressing. There's like 10 or less skill classes. I haven't seen them all yet, but I've only unlocked like 2 additional ones outside of the 5 original ones. I thought this was going to be a more complicated game for a gamer like myself. When it wasn't, it made me enjoy the game more. Now, performance issues. I highly recommend, if you two or anybody who's watching or listening to this podcast, I highly recommend that if you purchase this game, that you look up somebody's guide as to how to make the settings the most
Now, are you
optimal
playing on PC or
on your.
PS5 or
I'm
Xbox?
playing on
Okay.
PC. Yeah. Yeah, I should have started with this entire thing. I'm playing on
Fair.
PC. So, PC versions, definitely. Make sure you look up a guide, because I had to change about 15 to 20 settings, and I watched how my particular memory, and specifically like my oh my god, my graphics card memory was freeing up as I was switching it up. So it took about 5 minutes to do that, and I'm still seeing the one major thing I'm seeing pop up, definitely, but the one major thing that I'm seeing is specifically like sunlit areas, like when the sun, like let's say the sun's passing through the trees, it's spazzing. I'm not that sensitive to that kind of stuff. I tend to ignore it until it like really irks me. So if you're the kind of gamer that is really sensitive to that type of stuff and it ruins the experience, you might not like it. But I know they're going to patch things up down the road over time, such, but it's a little of a rocky start in that
Yeah.
area. So I must say, when you're outside, you don't notice it as much, but in the first populated city I went to, yeah.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's really smooth gameplay. There's a Monster Hunter kind of esque type of thing. With anything large that you fight, you can jump on, you can climb if your character is able to do so, and that makes the battle a lot more compelling. I would personally, because you could change classes to test them out, I would recommend a more physical class, because there are some ones there. Like there's a like you could be a mage and such like that, and it's enjoyable kind of, but you're just powering up your spells to shoot it. So that could get a little bit boring for certain people as well. But I can't wait to play more of it. I've just been doing side quests and main quests like back to back, or like, or interchangeably. But it's a very good game. It's a very good game.
Every time somebody talks about it or I watch a video, I feel less interested
I just
because
can't
it's
make
just
heads or
not for
tails of
me.
how any. Yeah, I can't make
Yeah.
heads or tails of how anybody feels about this game.
Yeah.
And it's either they love it, or it's a disappointment to the first. So my roommate did buy it. I might try it once he's done with it, and once I get done with the 17 long backlog that I have. But Dragons Dogma
Yeah.
2 is nowhere on my should like next to be played list.
Yeah. Agreed.
I was hoping to chip away at it in this like whole year, because I am going to be one of the people, if there are many of these people, that I'm medium on it. It's not amazing yet. but I don't hate it. I think it's a medium RPG, action RPG that has some mechanics that work and some performance issues.
I feel like in this day and age, you're gonna drop it. You won't finish it.
Yeah.
I think I remember you being pretty average on Biomutant as well, and I very physically remember you not touching that game afterward. You could see it. You're playing it back in your head. You know.
Yeah. There's just so many. There's so many good RPGs out right now that if I'm not like, based on what you're saying, and you're like, it's pretty good. Like, there's two better RPGs right now that you have that you could be playing instead.
Yep.
Final Fantasy and Like a Dragon.
And I put
Baldur's Gate
and
Persona 3.
Yeah, those are the three that I'd put before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would agree. Barry, did you pre-order that Persona Reload? Did you say that like last week or the week before that you pre-ordered the vinyl?
Yes, I did. I have the.
Okay.
I have that eventually coming. The P3R vinyl specifically.
They dropped a couple of songs from there on iTunes, and it's just, oh my god, I should have.
And it's just in time. I got a new vinyl player, so I'm very much enjoying vinyl. But this isn't a vinyl podcast. Let's save that.
It could
Sorry.
be.
Yeah. Sorry to derail us.
I'm trying to. I'm saving that up. I'm saving that up for when it is time to release that. But
fair.
Instead of music, let's talk about the other M in movies.
Yes.
So movies this week for me. I'm not sure, and Craig, you guys will remember this better. Did I talk about Roadhouse or the Dune Buggy 2, like Grand Tour?
You did not talk about Roadhouse.
No.
I did.
Okay. So I think I watched them. I watched both of those this week and Invincible.
Okay. I watched Imaginary and One Love. I got my Bob Marley on.
Awesome. I watched Night Swim.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's the only one that I watched.
Okay. I'll go over my the two older ones that Craig has already talked about. Roadhouse is like a fun. It is just like a fun. I never watched the classic. I'll be completely honest with you.
Yep.
Now, in the original, and you guys might be able to clear this up for me.
I don't think any of us have watched the original.
No.
None of us have.
Because I was under the impression that in the original it was more violent. Like I thought
it was violent.
I thought Patrick Swayze like ripped some guy's throat out or something like that. That's what I was under the impression of. I don't know if that's true. If that's the case.
He rips a dude's throat out in the original. Okay. I know that. Yep.
Because this doesn't feel as violent in a weird way, considering like if it's more, I don't know. For me, it's more like fun beat 'em up. Like, yes, it does get like action level like craziness when it's Jake Gyllenhaal's character versus Conor McGregor, and that's fun because they both just kind of Conor just loves it. Conor just have it. You were right when you said like Conor just has so much fun.
Yep.
Acting, and he's definitely playing the part of just like an insano man, which makes sense, I think, for his character here. But I think the action set pieces are pretty good, just in general. Nothing too like crazy or overly weird in the CGI department, and it's like for me, it's just a fun. I can just like forget about everything, and then that movie's like, okay, it's fun, and then I'm on to the next thing, like I was with the Grand Tour Presents one as well. This one feels a little bit tamer, I guess, than the rest. Maybe it's because they're stuck in a desert. Is probably the main reason why. I do wish they would kind of switch up the dynamic of what happens. Like I've kind of got it where James May's car always gets something hilarious done to it. Hammond's car breaks at least 7 times on every road trip, and Clarkson is always like ooh, this is the greatest thing ever kind of deal here. I really wish they would kind of switch it around a little bit with, and I don't know if all of that is it's scripted, but Hammond's car breaking down this many times feels like it's scripted at this point. Like
I don't think it's scripted. I just think in general that's the cars he's picking,
and maybe that is the case.
Yeah, they have their type of cars that they like. his tend to break down in extreme situations.
Yeah. So I that's what I'm just not sure of, just because it's always that it
Mm-hmm.
is, but it's still three of the guys that I feel like I almost the dynamic with that one is that it just feels like these people, like they are just three friends who happen to get their stuff filmed
Yeah.
and get to have fun doing it. It's like the fun version of the car version of the Pat McAfee show in a way, where like
Mm-hmm.
the Pat McAfee show, it's all, you could tell they're all friends and that they talk the way they talk when they're outside of their show, and it's the same thing with this. Like these three are they're friends and they get to film what they're doing, and it's fun. I enjoy it, and there are definitely some moments that I just enjoy laughing at. Like
Yeah,
it's
I just think I enjoyed them as people so much that no matter what they do, I watch. Like
yeah.
they all have their own individual shows, and I've watched them all. It doesn't matter what it is. It's like James May goes to Japan, watched it. I watch Clarkson's Farm every season, and like
Mhm.
Hammond has stuff. We had one where he like went across country on a motorcycle. Watch that because I just enjoy them as people.
Yeah.
They're funny. I don't even really like cars like that, but
Yeah.
I watch Top Gear
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in like the nuances of cars, but if they talk about it, I'll listen.
Yeah.
That's a funny way of putting it, because I had an old roommate who really, like, I watched Top Gear because he was
Mhm.
watching it, and like I really loved it every time it was on television. I have a similar thing. Like I don't necessarily care
Yeah.
about like that type of stuff, but like it was just really fun with their collective
Mhm.
energy and how they spoke about it.
Yeah.
So
True. Okay. Imaginary. Horror movie. Um, yeah, this movie sucks.
damn,
um,
I was waiting for damn it.
the twist is cool. I enjoyed the twist. I enjoy that they put the effort into physical monsters and not CGI. That being said, those physical monsters looked like something that was made for a YouTube video.
Mm.
But I appreciate the effort. My other issue with the movie, like the twist when it happened, which is like a little over halfway through the movie, I was like, oh, that's actually, I didn't see it coming, but that's pretty cool. But what really drags this movie down is like, in its essence, it's a girl, a very young girl. They move into her stepmom's old house, and she finds a teddy bear, and it's her friend, her imaginary friend. Um, but the little girl is such a bad actress. And I don't hate on her because she's young, but when the majority of the movie is based on this little girl and her acting is terrible, it really puts a strain on like watching the movie because you're like, oh my God. Like, if you're gonna have a movie about a little kid, you better find a little kid who's not overacting, which a lot of them do. Like she is overacting everything. The concept's cool. It was a good attempt, but it's not good. I would not waste my time watching that movie at all. And then, but One Love is actually very good. Coming from somebody who has, I think I know like, do I know more than one Bob Marley song? Maybe.
You
I
do,
think I
you
do,
do.
but
I shot the
yep,
sheriff,
yep.
jamming,
But I don't know. I don't know
Buffalo
a
I was
whole
about to
lot
Soldier.
say we got
about
three
him.
right there.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him. And I really enjoyed seeing his backstory, like what was going on in his life, where he lived, why he sang about. I enjoy movies about musical people. I think it's very cool seeing a whole different side of people that you may not normally know if you're not into their music. And this is not something I would have watched, honestly, if I was not on the quest to watch everything, but it's allowing me to watch movies that I wouldn't normally watch. And I'm finding that like, oh, this is actually a good movie. So even if you're like, I don't care about Bob Marley at all, one, you probably should. It's kind of an
Yeah,
important piece of history. But two,
he
it's
is.
done very well. Um, I will say that some of the people in this movie are also overacting with their accents. The Rastafarian accent is a hard thing to pull off. And
Yeah.
if you can do it, do it, but some of them are not doing as well as others. But it wasn't like super distracting. It was just kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate you trying, but maybe tone it back a little bit. It's a little too much. But yeah, 100% check that one out. That one's a good pass on Imaginary. Watch One Love instead, or your movie.
I was going to say, speaking on passing on a scary movie, Night Swim
You didn't like it?
had me drowning in anger,
my God.
if I may. I don't know, man. Like, I hate that movies that try too many things in their budgeted hour and minutes slot that they budget for themselves. And this felt like Lady in the Water with a touch of like Amityville horror.
Yeah.
In it. It's like it's pretty bad. So like, for people who don't know, it's essentially there's a family, father, mother, and daughter looking for a new home. The father is a famous baseball player and famous third baseman that has MS. Now, you cut that's a movie right there. I said that 3 times in the movie to my wife. I said they had a better movie with a father who's a famous baseball player who is struggling in like it seemed like mid-career, like 30s, early 30s, which a lot of people have a lot of baseball in them in their 30s and 40s even. Struggling with MS. That should be a movie. If you like, I'm saying that to people who are writing movies currently. Make that a movie. I'll watch that. The ups and downs of that. But no, this is a horror movie, and they choose this one house because of the pool in the back, and that was one of the things that was suggested for his therapy.
Gotta have the pool.
You gotta have the
pool.
You gotta have the pool, so you can hit them footlongs out the park. You gotta have.
Oh no, it came back.
You gotta have the pool.
You know what? Speaking of moonshots, I did come across a question today with the eclipse. With the eclipse happening, do you call it a moonshot or a sunshot? That is the question.
Ooh, that's the debate.
But there is nothing like hitting absolute clongers out of the park into the three rivers at PNC Park.
That's just true. So. Which was flooded not too long ago. Anyway, we got way off track.
We got way off track, but that was perfect. Well, this particular gentleman was not hitting balls.
He does at one point.
However, he does actually. He does. So long story short, they move in. As they move in, the gentleman or the baseball player starts to heal, like go in the positive direction for his diagnosis, and it's in relation to the pool with deadly side effects to the family. As you kind of watch as you go on. I won't say what those side effects are. So this movie, like 40% does it right, where there's something with healing scary properties in relation to the pool, but like a haunting in relation to the pool. This is all stuff that you can kind of see in the trailer, besides maybe the healing effect thing that I mentioned. So I'm not ruining too much, but they also say that in the first 10 minutes of the movie. It's just they were trying too hard with everything that they were doing, which, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, when you're going with like it's Blumhouse. So Blumhouse will just put out scary movies. They know that not all of them are going to be bangers.
They also put out Imaginary, by the way.
They also put out Imaginary. So
now,
I mean,
I was going to say, I do have to ask. You mentioned the healing properties, which I was not aware in this film that happened.
Yes.
Does like every time the pool claims a body, he's getting better? Is that the dilemma here, or
you have to sacrifice one?
Yeah,
in order to heal.
It's like that.
Okay, so I guess at that point he could have just taken like some very bad criminals out of jail that probably deserve the death penalty.
I think it has to be somebody from your family, right? That's kind of
it is.
So it's the bloodline. So we're just now we're in the bloodline in the story. I have to finish the story.
Finish the story. Yeah.
So now you have to, and like what's crazy is there wasn't a lot of jump scares. What annoyed my wife and I watching this movie is there was a lot of opportunity for jump scares. There was a lot of swimming moments. There was a lot of what is that, fisheye
Mhm.
lens,
Isn't that the whole
where
point though? You don't
yeah,
see the jump scares coming. Maybe it's a subversion, and you don't.
Yeah, but that's why
no,
we're
no,
there, for the jump scares.
we're there for the jump scares, and there wasn't a lot
Mhm.
of them. Like there was plenty of moments where people were playing by themselves. Either the kid was playing by themselves, the daughter was swimming because they threw in some storyline where she wants to make the swim team for a boy she likes.
Everyone
So
knows that's how you get the boy you
she was,
like. You
Yep.
do good in the swim team.
yeah. So yeah, they created in the movie, they forced storylines to create a moment where every member of the family would be swimming in the pool by themselves to create jump
Yep.
scares. And then they didn't deliver a lot of jump scares. They had the boy playing Marco Polo by himself, or like collecting
That's
coins
in the
from
Yeah.
the bottom of
trailer.
the
I
pool.
do remember
Coins.
the
Yep.
Marco Polo.
Mhm.
And he would come up to the top, and then he would just be like, "Oh, I thought my sister was around. Oh no, she's not. All right, I'll go back underwater." A coin flies in the
Yep.
pool, and you're expecting a jump scare for like, I don't know, 5 minutes or more. And then he goes up and he's like, my stupid sister. And there's like not really a lot of jump scares. There are some, but like, like you're basing a haunted pool as the premise of your movie, and you're having a bunch of people dive under and go back up or do laps where they are clearly cannot like eat. Like, come on, Swim Fan had more jump scares related to pools than this
There's a
movie
reason
did.
this movie
Now I'm on
came
a
out
rant.
in January. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Craig.
That was
No, go
that was
ahead.
good.
Yep.
Whatever that just was,
Yep.
that was pretty. That
That's
was pretty
good.
good right there.
Okay. The the silver lining that I was saying that I thought came to me because we both said horror movies that we saw were terrible is that I think we're at a point now where good horror movies are either on the way to streaming or are here, because you have Late Night with the Devil, you have Immaculate, you have oh my god, The First Omen, uh, that are
Yeah.
all being received extremely well, that are either in theaters right now. I think the 19th is when Late Night with the Devil streams on Shudder. So there's good horror movies coming, but that first quarter of the year is always crappy horror movies. They just
Yeah.
dump them out in January and February. They're like, here, you watch this.
Yeah.
And I do,
No, that's a
like an
good
idiot
point.
every year.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just
Yeah.
looking for them. You know, you're looking for the good ones.
Yep.
and
Yeah, that's Night
and then
Swim.
finally, real
Sucks.
quick about Invincible.
Yes.
The full series is out now. I'm really enjoying it. It doesn't feel like too much in a step of like a super big direction when it comes to animation. It still looks just as good as the other season did. My really only complaint about this is that it feels like the episodes are too long. And
Okay.
don't and maybe it's just me. I really like the 23-minute segment in like a in for a cartoon specifically. I don't know what it is about hour long like animation that sort of is like this starts to feel like it's dragging, whereas and even real and even live action stuff could tend to drag in an hour as well. But I don't know what it is. It just feels like some of the times, like I'm 22 minutes into an episode of Invincible, I gotta pause it and go do something else just because it's it's not grabbing my attention, or I feel like it's not as quick and snappy as I feel like some animation is. Whereas like X-Men 97 feels like it's fantastic at time capsule in a
Yeah.
way, and these things go so quickly. You the X-Men 97 has the issue where I wish there were more. I wish I didn't have to wait, for another episode, but you do in this particular case. And with Invincible, it has the opposite effect. And maybe it would feel different if I was part of like the huge wait that came with part 2 and part 1 of season 2. But overall, it's still a very good show, and I'm interested. I'm 5 episodes in, and I'm just interested to see like all the big stuff that happens at the end.
Okay. I still need to watch that.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
But anything else anybody wants to go over?
That's a no from
All
me,
right.
brother.
Well, we appreciate everybody
Yes, let's
listening.
go.
If you depending on what platform you're listening, please make sure to listen to us and review us on Apple Podcast or on Spotify. If you could leave and leave a review, we would appreciate it. Share it with someone you think would like us. And YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. The Stellar Blade video went over well. I figured out I need a headline algorithm is what I need. You just put Stellar Blade in the title and it's going to
Amazing.
get views. So I wonder what fun headline I'll come up for this. Maybe if I do a poor job, leave in the comments what headline you think I need, brother. So, thank you everybody for listening. I do plan on doing something. I know we had episode 200. I do plan on doing something, a little giveaway or something like that in the coming weeks here. But so be on the lookout. Make sure you keep listening and you'll get your opportunity to win it. And I hope to give it to a fan that's been listening for a while. I appreciate all the support we get. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys.